let me just say for the record, and everybody that know me and follow my Instagram, which just got back up after being suspended.
Welcome back.
I'm a Jordan fanatic. And this whole LeBron Jordan thing, to me, was never really a debate.
Okay.
I respect the man's game. He's nice despite many of the things that I've said and poking fun. I respect him. You can't not respect him. And the man is one of the best. But he ain't Jordan, B. Jordan's the GOAT, man. End the conversation. And this season right here, we can finally put a pin in that garbage.
What?
This season right here.
So we go Mr. Wizards Jordan?
Wait a minute, but hold up. Even that Jordan was doing just as well as the average player in the NBA.
Yeah, he was.
He was putting up 20.
Yeah, he was.
And giving some of the premier players the business.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know.
Whenever someone asks me, I say, what happened with like 80s, 90s, if you notice, most of the GOATs are actually in that era. It's just the way like society was at that time. So when you think about GOATs, they're usually sitting in that 80s, 90s, 70s era. Jordan, what he brought to the game, style, grace, talk, he became the Bugatti.
Okay.
The just one of one. No one can reach it. Period. No matter what you do, you can't reach that vehicle.
Okay, well, first let me say this. I personally have a problem with people going, there are many GOATs. No, there's only one GOAT. And then we're not handing out, you know, and I'm not saying these other players are fifth place, but everybody can't get the trophy. And whenever I get into arguments with people about GOAT, here's one of the things I hear people say, which really gets under my skin. Well, if it's about rings, then Robert Horry, he got 7. Yo, if it's about rings, then Bill Russell, he got 11. And I go, y'all don't understand what totality means? The recipe for good gumbo, AKA GOAT, you have to have it all. It's rings, it's stats, it's influence, it's pop culture, it's global phenomenon. Mike possesses a lot of things that some of those other dudes don't. Now, Bill Russell, 11 rings, to be commended. But you played in an era where you was 1 of 3 in the whole, and Larry Bird himself said, basketball is a black man's game. Anytime the opposing coach put a white guy on me, it offended me. The best players are black. So if you're one black guy in an era with 3 black guys, and you're a giant amongst the shortened season, kill that argument. And then when people bring up Robert Horry, here's what I say. Y'all don't understand the difference between being the reason you win and winning for a reason. Robert Horry, right place, right time, 7 rings. But he wasn't the reason they won. Yes, you need role players. But when you look at guys like Magic, Michael, Bird, Kobe, Shaq, Hakeem, those are franchise. They're the reason their teams win. Robert won for a reason. So understand the difference. And miss me with that shit.
No. When I say GOATs, I mean like music GOATs came from the 80s, 90s.
Yes.
Like
the 80s.
That's why I said it's the best era.
It's best era
It's just
ever.
for some reason that's just the best era.
Who today is better than Mike Tyson? Who today is better than Michael Jackson?
When you're having an argument, that's where you're stuck. It's like when you're talking about today versus the 80s, it's like, yo, anybody who breathed in the 80s, you're not gonna win an argument. It's like you're trying to win an argument, it's like.
But do you say that because you agree?
Yeah, but even with me, I'm like, yeah, who can beat MJ? Who can beat the other MJ? Who can beat, yeah. Who can beat anybody from the 80s?
Let me ask you this question.
It's like, what happened in the 80s that made everybody
This is posed to both of you. When people brought up the debate, who would win between the 72-10 Bulls and the Warriors with KD? And I'm gonna be honest with you. I give the Warriors maybe 2 games. Maybe.
Okay, so what you really have.
And I don't give a damn about the eras.
No. Okay, so when it comes to styles, you have a defensive team.
4 to 5 starters.
You're talking about
defenders.
You're talking about premier, just straight premier defenders. And they're all at the same position.
2 3-point assassins.
And then you have all guard play on the. But you have Michael Jordan.
You got Scotty.
You have Michael, they have a KD.
Scotty's on KD. Stopping KD, but it's gonna be a tough day at work.
So Mike on Steph? Who's stopping Steph?
You don't know.
Ron Harper's gonna be a problem.
You're gonna pick
Michael's destroying Clay.
Yeah, but you gotta remember, it's because that was the team, that was a small ball team that nobody actually paid attention to.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's a perfect matchup. But you know, when you're talking about somebody like Jordan coming through the lane, like he's gonna average 40 something that series because there's no one that can physically stop him.
And if you are talking about today's rules, yeah, he's gonna average 40, maybe more.
What's so funny is no matter, like, the thing is, it's gonna be AD and Jordan. Those are going to be two premier players because they don't have a 7-footer that's going to be able to keep up with him. No matter if you put Pippen on him or Jordan, or what's name, he's still going to be able to pull up on anybody. So it's those two, and then Jordan is going to carry because no one is physically.
And you don't think that from
you give them 2 games, I'll give them 1, maybe 2. Like
I wanted to say sweep.
Yeah, that's not like. I mean, like depending on how mad Michael is.
Okay.
But you got to remember, you still got KD is just a different beast. So
Okay.
he can carry the team. He can carry a team. Because you really he's gonna put Pippen in foul trouble. He'll put those guys in foul trouble, but there's nobody stopping Michael from getting to the basket.
Okay, this might be my old man.
But I don't think Golden State wins this series now.
I'm gonna be honest with you. This might be my old man, but I don't really think the Warriors beat any of those teams. Bird, Celtics, Shaq, Kobe, Lakers,
they whooping the
Pistons, the bad boys, Shaq and Penny, Magic. I don't see them beating none of them. Overrated team on the planet.
No, they you gotta remember the way they played the game, they had players that can put that ball in the basket. Because you gotta remember, Steph, you have to actually be people don't understand how in shape that man actually is. For him to run around the way he does, pass it, give it up, sprint, I'm pretty sure he's doing 5 to 3 miles a day in his off season. It's just unreal. The way he moves moving without the ball is the most important thing for him. So if you're trying to catch rest, you're never going to catch it on him or Clay. It's just one of those things.
You don't think, as Barkley has alluded to a lot of times, he ain't going to be doing all that Steph shit because we're going to put a body on him. We're going to make him touch the floor.
Listen, that shit is so overrated. That put a body on him. What that is I can't guard you, so we're gonna foul you. That's all that basketball.
Right.
We all played that on the park.
Right.
We know how to play that game, but there's rules here. So if you're playing in the rules now, if you're playing in today's rule, Dennis Rodman is actually out because he physically can't use what he's gifted at. So when people are like, oh, he guarded Shaq. No one's doing that no more. He can't touch and grab and hold and do all this pound for pound. He has to be able to guard someone who's dribbling and coming down the lane now. There's nobody posting up. Who's posted up on that Golden State Warriors team that he can sit here and play WrestleMania basketball with? He doesn't do that. There's no Shaq, there's no Hakeem where he gets to play that. He has to actually play skilled basketball now. All that fouling and getting him out of the air, that's two techs.
You don't think he can adapt?
But you can't make him adapt. You got to take their skill as it is. When I have arguments, it's like, we have to take him as it is. We can't say, oh yeah, we're going to give you today's skill and talent. We just say, well, you know what I mean? But that's why I said Ron Harper and all of those guys, they adapt. Dennis Rodman, listen, you have Draymond. As long as he's sticking Draymond the whole time, he has the advantage over him.
Right.
Because that's their style. They play a little wrestle game, play a little game.
Head game.
Yeah, the head game, Dennis Rodman wins that.
Okay, all right.
So it's so hard with rules. It's just so hard when the rules has changed and it's played this way. There's teams like Detroit Pistons that say, well, none of these guys can play in our era. First of all, y'all, half your team sucked. They didn't have no skill.
Well,
they just clothesline you. There's no skill in clothesline. If I can say, yo, go out there right now, give me 6'5". You can do that.
But wait a minute. Some skill because they won 2 championships against teams that were skilled.
No, we gotta remember, 80s basketball, if you look at the skill level of some of the 80s players, you're like, so they're just never gonna dribble with their left hand.
No, but wait a minute now.
Dominic, we already know what they're gonna do.
Wait a minute.
He gonna dribble down that lane with this hand and try to windmill with the feet.
Okay, but LeBron doesn't have finesse and grace and beauty. He charges down, dunk, maybe a layup, but his game is all charge and brah. So I call it the Hummer. It's like the train. Right. It's like that train game where now I want y'all to realize, and some people be like, but they really got to think about it. Some people are like, how fast does he look today? LeBron.
Imagine that in 2003, 4, 5. What we had to deal with. Look how he looks at 37. Imagine what we were playing against at 22, 23, 24.
So when all this, okay, so look.
Right?
Here's part of
If he's running through everybody at this age, what do you think we had to deal with?
But wait a minute then. Wait a minute though, and here's the thing. People will say to me, people that haven't played professionally can argue all day. We do this all day. But then I go, to some of y'all who never played pro ball, y'all know better than the pros? Y'all ain't never touched a ball professionally. You gonna tell me they're wrong? And yet they'll tell you you're wrong. That being said, when I hear the younger generation go, today's athletes are bigger, stronger, faster, they're better athletes, evolution. Yeah, but there's rest management. They don't play 82 games. They team up. They didn't team up and make the Avengers back in the 80s and 90s. They played all 82 games. They didn't wear goggles because they was afraid of champagne skeet. Like, they really were tough.
No, wait. The main players didn't lead their teams. The role players did. You gotta remember, Ron Harper was averaging 20 when he went to go try to win the championship with the Bulls. Dennis Rodman left, right? So people left to go try to win championship because Chicago at the time was the team, Lakers at the time was the team. Like, so those players were, mid, low, high, mid, you know what I mean? They left to go team up because Jordan wasn't gonna leave, Magic wasn't gonna leave, Kobe wasn't gonna leave because he's in LA. I'm in LA. I'm not leaving. You're coming here. So it's easier for you to recruit if you're in LA, right? Versus a star sitting in Milwaukee, Minnesota, Memphis. You like, yo, you begging. Hey man, no, look, we got the tax. We got taxes for you. Look, you ain't gotta pay for nothing. Like, man, I don't wanna hear shit. Right? Like, I gotta live here. Nobody wants to live in Cleveland.
So when the non-basketball players, all the gazillions of people on social media say that this era is soft, this era is not as hard, you totally disagree with that?
They're soft because of rules, not soft because they're just soft. You gotta remember 80s and all that, there was a different breed of people.
Right.
You know what I mean? But we've all played outside, we all played street ball, we all had to, you gotta remember, making it to the NBA, you had to go through hardship. It's not an easy road.
Right.
So when it comes to just style, there's so much money that you can't be in 80s mind. Like, look at Draymond Green. He is 10% of what Rodman was, right? If you look at him and compare to Rodman, you're like a kitty cat compared to what Rodman was.
Yeah, but he's got 80s feet.
How many technicals does this man get?
Right.
Like, he gets fined probably $1 million a year. An 80s player couldn't take that. Back then it was $2,000 to slap shit out you.
Right.
I can slap, Dennis Rodman can slap and body slam you for $2,000.
Right.
Now that's LeBron elbow cost him, was it $400,000? I'm not fighting you. Hold me back. I'm gonna be soft. Shit, that check costs too much now.
So to all the couch fans and the sideline fans that never did it, what annoys you most, or what do you disagree with? If you could say to them something besides shut up.
Everything evolves, right? The reason, just sports itself, we want more entertainment. We want it faster. We want it to look better. So when sports comes, you have a game and look at a game and it's like, all right, Spurs versus Detroit in a championship, and the score is going to be 86-90. No one wants to watch it. We want to see the 120 versus 140.
Okay.
We want to see someone has 60. We want to see someone has 35.
There's still people though that does
No, you still have your brute type of minds that want to see that grinded out, playoff atmosphere type of games.
But what I don't see, and I'm really trying to look at this from a different point of view, but when I hear the young crowd go, today's athletes in terms of evolution are just bigger, stronger, fat, I'm going, what dunks am I seeing now that I've never, what am I supposed to be seeing now that I haven't already seen? I'm seeing the shit.
No. See, it's not, okay, so it's not that the players are jumping higher. That is false. That is false narrative. They're using athleticism just different.
Oh,
so
okay.
Let's say Jordan had a 46, Dominique had a 44. These kids are not 48 and 49s. They're 42s and 43s still, but Dominique's doing the windmill. One-handed windmill, two-handed windmill,
okay.
Right? These kids are just tricking it out, making it look better. They're not jumping higher, they're just using their athleticism just a little different.
I don't know that I've seen anything that, again, who's replaced Magic? Who's replaced Pete Maravich? Who's replaced Michael Jordan? Who's replaced Hakeem?
Never.
Okay, so who's better?
But you're not gonna replace it. You're just gonna.
But what I'm saying is, I haven't seen anything that made me go, okay, I ain't never seen that. Oh, damn, that's better than Magic when he did it. But that's better than so and so Vince Carter when he did it. I'm not seeing anything better.
But you're not. We're not gonna see anything better.
So,
There's
so we got to stop. I don't understand that label. Today is better.
Because you got to remember, the young kids don't watch. They don't go in the past and watch the archives.
So we're talking about ignorance now.
Yes.
You young kid, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they don't, it's not like they go and watch history. They see, like Pistol Pete, when it comes to skill level, he can argue, or just Pistol Pete fans can argue that he probably was the most skilled person that ever played the game because he had no reference when he was doing his stuff. That was just what his brain came up with. Coming here, throwing it off the elbow. Because today they're still not doing shit he did in the 70s.
That's what I'm saying.
But that's what I'm saying, because no one's going back and looking at those archives. You're only looking at what you grew up watching.
But do you think Pete was doing that shit on his own, or he was going in the hood and doing some L type shit?
I don't know. No, you can't. He went to the hood and watched this because it never translated to NBA.
That's real.
So he's doing what the vision that's coming in his brain, like the stuff he's doing, and it's like, yo, none of these passes, some of these passes have never been duplicated.
One of the fiercest dunkers ever, Sean Kemp. Who's dunking like that now? Who? Man, calm the noise on the bigger, stronger, better.
You know what's so weird? Okay, so Ricky Davis did the between the legs, the East Bay dunk in the game back in 2005, 4, 5, 6. The first time it was repeated was last year. Fast break, that's it, fast break, good. That's just the game is not, it's hard to say because of the rules are being bent, because it's being bent and curved, it's hard to really gauge it, to see like who can withstand pass rules, the time, just because it's leaning, like I look at the scores now, there's threes and layups only, but they're still only averaging 104 to 8. 80s was actually scoring more than that. I think 80s basketball is either 70s or 80s, late 70s, mid 80s. They were averaging 112 to 116 points a game. Yeah. So they were actually moving faster. So with all the scientists and they doing all, go to 80s, they were moving faster than today's game. They're averaging, the league is averaging 112 to 116 points. Right now with threes, they're only averaging 104 to 8.
All right, well, let's keep this thing moving forward. So Aries, obviously we got you here. We got to hit you up on just your life. You've been in the game 30 years.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people don't know, 16 years